Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy. In the last part we started off the Earth Cave and now we're gonna finish this area off.
Oh man, I'm really excited for this part because it involves a Final Fantasy IX reference. Well,
You kind of got that reversed there.
It involves something that 9 references. So yeah.
Like 9 does reference a lot of Final Fantasy classic stuff. Like, I forget what, I think it was some stuff you could get in the auction house in 9. It was references to the sages from Final Fantasy 3.
Gogo's fingers, the Dogo's artifact in Un's mirror.
Yes, Dorga and Une. Also, one thing, that's the way that I always pronounce it based off the fan translation of 3 I used. Anyway, first new enemy for the part is a Spectre. They got 52 HP, they're known as White in later translations, and their attacks paralyze.
Just like the vampire, I don't like that.
They're also weak to fire and holy and resist ice and statuses. Pretty basic undead enemies, really.
I didn't have the stats up when you started talking. I was like, oh god, I don't have them up yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
anyway, it's
boy.
actually in this area that it becomes very apparent that Final Fantasy I suffers from what I like to call Pokemon syndrome. Even if it's a song you absolutely love, the moment you go into a random battle,
It restarts.
yeah. Don't like that in RPGs, but at the same time, I can see why it happens. I think Final Fantasy IV didn't do that, though. At least not all the time. I don't recall it happening much in the overworld.
By the way, I finally found that second pink tail.
Why are you going for 4?
I'm going
Never
for
go
all.
for
I'm going
4.
for all 5 of them. I really.
Oh, that's right. There's 5 party members in 4. I forgot about that.
I really want those adamant armors. I really want those adamant armors. To be fair, they don't really help out for people in the front row because they still take the same amount of damage.
Yeah. Grinding for things like that I'll do maybe once in a playthrough, and that's about it. Hence why whenever I do 4, I'm just going to do it and give it to Cecil. Anyway, it's in here that something that I like to call a Dragon Quest syndrome happens, where NPCs can completely block your path. You have to wait for them to get out of your damn way. Move, you goddamn bats!
I like the thing in the bug in Final Fantasy IX where you can actually walk through NPCs. Well, some NPCs, anyways.
I'm not sure if that's much of a bug as much as it is just technical issues. Anyway, all living things were born to die. No one can defeat me, the vampire.
I want to suck your blood. Okay.
Vampire has 156 HP.
He also is weak to fire and holy, and his dazzle attacks paralyze.
Yep, he is pathetically easy. Because I think Garland, technically, for the point in the game that he was at, actually had more HP. But basic strategy that you're going to see for a lot of bosses from here on out is that Zero uses the fast spell on Zell and Sid. While they're attacking, Aiko, well, she'll either heal or do whatever spell I find best to do that stuff, and then the boss dies.
It's too easy. In Record Keeper, they found him really hard. Which I'm glad they did, so...
For part of the fact, well, first off, you got a ruby. We're going to need that coming up here. But I do want to show off one more thing before we leave the Earth Cave. For now, this mystical tablet.
Why is it
There's a
always
stone plate on the
tablets?
floor. You sense something evil? Dun, dun, dun!
Why is it always stone tablets? In literally every single RPG I've played, there's something about stone tablets.
Well, the thing is, stone is pretty heavy, so it can keep stuff sealed.
Good point.
Anyway, they never really direct you on where to go next unless you have to talk to a very specific NPC. You actually have to head into this cave. This is the Ogre's Cave, I believe. You need to... I forget, it's been a while since I actually looked at the names for some of these areas. And here we get our next enemy, the tiger known as the Lesser Tiger in later translations.
132 hit points. Pardon me.
And nothing really special about it other than that. I think it has some pretty high agility for what it is, but some of the stats, actually, I think I mentioned this in a call on like part 3 or something. But if you see any discrepancies in the stats I put up, that's because I'm just copying that stuff off the Final Fantasy wiki, so I'm not sure what's up with that. Because in the Tiger's case in specific, its defense, magic defense, and evasion are completely not available.
I have a question. Why does that guy eat rubies? Why are they sweet?
Don't look at me. I don't know that.
Ogres are interesting. Where is Shrek? Why are you eating rubies?
Don't even bring up Shrek. The comments, man. The comments.
Oh god.
Anyway, we got some stuff here. Got a silver helmet and a great axe. I think I mentioned axes before. I may not have. But axes are generally really powerful things, except for the fact that they have crap hit percentages.
Blood sword in later games, except for 9 and 2.
They can be useful, especially in some of the later versions, but honestly, I'm not going to be taking advantage of them. I'm sticking with swords for the most part. Anyway, the reason we went through that ogre's cave is so we can come into here. This is the cave of the... I forget the guy's name, actually. But the important thing is that he has a lot of pottery, which we sadly cannot break. And by talking to him, something happens.
What? Oh god, an old man.
He gives us the rod into the vampire's room. I forget if anyone ever directs you in this general direction unless you go to the ogre's cave beforehand and see that you needed the ruby. I can see this being one of those kind of things in the game, honestly, because games are pretty vague about where you needed to go back then. Like, I really think of Dragon Quest 1, actually, because there are some points where like, wait, how was I supposed to know I was supposed to go here?
I think that's one reason why they over-tutorialized some of the newer ones, like FE7, for example. They tutorialized Lynn's route to Hell, and I think that was for a good reason, because I think they were correcting this kind of thing, where they're vague about where you go and all that kind of stuff.
In Fire Emblem's case, there was a reason for that, and that's because 7 was the first one that Americans were going to get, so they put in the tutorial for people who weren't familiar with that kind of game. Like, Fire Emblem 6 has, like, no tutorial at all, really. As far as I can recall. Well, anyway, I don't know why.
Decent.
I bought something there, I forgot what it was. I should probably actually get the notes open for the part 2.
You bought steel armor, I believe it was.
Part 6,
Steel armor for, I believe it was 0.
I think it may have been Zell, I forget. Either way, we're back in Elfland for reasons. Yeah, I bought steel armor and Elmond. Here in Elfland, we're here to get the anti-fire and anti-ice spells. But those do, I forget the exact way to describe it. I forget if it's that it makes the characters immune or makes them unable to use them. Also, fun fact, investigate one of those graves, you get someone saying, "Here lies Link."
I think you actually did that in one episode.
I may have, I forget, because it's been so long since we recorded that episode. Though, thankfully, the break between this episode and the last is much shorter.
Because we finally figured out a really good way to fix the audio problems. Yay.
Yeah. Thank you, Audacity. Anyway, now we're back in the Oath Cave. So let's get past you with that rod.
Rods. Useful in only some cases.
I'm not sure why, but the prospect of using an item from my menu like that reminds me a lot of Shadowgate, if any of you guys out there have ever played that. To this day, I don't know why, though.
Not me.
Anyway, as usual with the upper areas of the Earth Cave, this place is fairly non-linear, but that's just because it's a maze, practically.
It's got a wooden staff. There's $3,400.
Staves aren't very useful in these in Final Fantasy 1. Some are, but most aren't. Anyway, next new enemy is a Sphinx. 228 HP, and it resists Quake. In fact, a lot of enemies that have wings on their sprite do that. They resist Quake because they're supposedly not on the ground.
Okay, I have a question about Final Fantasy V. Just something that popped in my head. You know those specter things that kind of look like they're floating?
I think.
I can't really describe them, but how are they not immune to ground? Because they can't feel anything if they're ghosts.
I would use the excuse of ghosts don't die, but that's not very fitting in this instance.
I was so waiting for that reference.
I'm not sure. It's been a while since I played 5. Well, actually, not really. I think I played it last summer, actually, when I was at my grandmother's.
I'm actually just starting playing 5 again, and I'm almost regretting it.
Yeah, 5 is just pretty hard. That's one of those That's why I recommended that if you're gonna do an LP, do the practice run. Oh God, Cocatrice!
Hate these things. Always have, always will.
50 HP, they resist Quake, and their attacks stone you.
Dead stone, yeah.
They often get groups, and it's fairly often that they get first strike. So if they get a first strike and there's more than 4 of them, you might be screwed. One playthrough, actually, I got completely screwed over, like, I think on this floor, actually, by, like, a group of 9 of them.
What?
who completely
9 of
stoned
them?
us. Yeah. Well, I forget. It was the maximum amount of things. I think it may have been 9. Maybe it was 6. I forget. Either way, a lot of them attacked me. I died. It was not fun.
Ugh.
And Cocatrices have been my enemies ever since.
Well, not in 12, because I don't think they do Stone Gaze in that.
Speaking of which, did you hear they might be remaking that?
Yes, I did. It's really interesting. But why
I'm
are they
looking forward
skipping?
to it.
Well, why are they skipping 9? I mean, why can't we get a remake of 9? Why? Literally every other game's had a remaster of sorts except for 9. Even 8. Or wait, has 8 even gotten one?
PC version, technically. Anyway, that meme was the troll 184 HP weak to fire.
Oh, that's why you put that music in there.
Yeah, it's the troll theme.
Great
And next
job.
new enemy is actually 2 of them. The Wizard Ogres, 144 HP, resist Quake. They're known as Ogre Mages in later versions.
They cast Blink to increase their evasiveness, and then they cast Dark spells.
Dark Sleep, Hold, Blizzards. I think it's the same pattern. And I think they have some regen, actually, to themselves, like 5 HP every turn. I'm not sure if that works in this version, though, because I know one enemy has their regenerative abilities glitched in the NES version. And thankfully, that was the super boss, which I completely, surprisingly, did not fight.
Super bosses.
Wasn't even technically a super boss, it's just a random encounter that really hurts. Anyway, the other new enemy for this battle is the Hyena, known as Hyena Dons in later translations. 120 HP, nothing really special about them otherwise, other than having one hell of an ugly sprite.
Well, if there's one random encounter that really hurts, it's Hades from FF5 Advance.
Oh, that's right, Hades was a random battle in 5 Advance. I haven't played the advanced versions in so long.
I've never even played it. I just watched Dark Kefka.
The content's pretty worth it, but the sound quality and graphical quality is the. Plus, it spoils one of the best scenes in. I forget why I showed the stat screen there. The character portraits spoil one of the best scenes in the game in 5. Plus, the ones in 5 just look plain ugly. I think they were actually based off the Amano art, but that doesn't help.
Oh. Yeah, that they did look pretty bad.
No, I'm just talking like, well, yeah, they look bad, but I don't like the art style for Amano for 5 in general. Though I love the way the colorful motorcycle he gave Cloud in 7.
I love that song. Crazy Motorcycle Chase.
Crazy Taxi.
Oh my
Gotcha.
goodness. Oh.
Anyway, this is the final floor, which has this orb, which... Oh, that was me healing, by the way. And it's time to fight Lich, the Fiend of Earth, the one from Legend. With the PSP Fiend battle theme. Lich has 400 HP. His attacks paralyze.
He's weak to fire and holy damage. He resists status effects. He paralyzes.
And he has actually a set pattern.
A 75% chance of a spell each turn.
Yeah, and the spell is in a set cycle. It's Ice 2, Sleep 2, Fast, Lightning 2, Hold 2, Fire 2, Slow, and Sleep.
Well,
the big notable thing about them is that he is counted as undead in this version. I think they actually took away his weakness to fire. No, wait, no, I know what I'm thinking of. Never mind.
They took away the whole undead healing thing in 9.
Yeah, I know that for a fact, but I was thinking of something later in the... I thought I was thinking of a later version of this game, but no, I know what I'm thinking of. Never mind. Honestly, though... Well, first off, weirdly enough, you don't actually have to select a target in this. You just have to select the thing, and it'll go right to him. Because, you know, one giant-ass target. But honestly, even though he's supposedly the first major boss, he's nothing too hard. In the PSP version and iOS version, the Game Boy Advance version, he's much harder because they've really boosted his HP. In fact, they boosted every boss's HP, I believe, when it came to the major bosses in those versions. To ridiculous amounts, if I recall. I think this guy had like 5,000.
Wow, and considering to this 400, that's 10 times.
I think. I know what one boss's HP was turned to, and it was multiplied by 10, but...
Well, I mean, think about it. Sid just did 1/4 of the guy's health with that one shot.
Yeah, well, Sid's also a monk, and monks are broken in Final Fantasy 1. Anyway, the effect glitch is out there because of emulator and all, but we just restored the Orb of Earth. And we're done with the Earth Cave. But with that I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 7, we will be...
going to Mount Gulag, probably.
Yeah, I think. I forget, honestly. We'll see. Actually, yes. Yeah! See you guys then.
See you guys then.